What's up guys? So today I'm going to be doing a bit of a story time video talking about my time living on a farm in rural Japan. Saga Prefecture, with its beautiful mountains, gorgeous hot springs, and gentle people, welcomed me with open arms and changed my life for the better. Let's get into it. Before coronavirus broke out, I was studying abroad in Japan. Since I was between semesters, I had 2 full months where I had no classes and absolutely no plans. So I went online to figure out what I could do. I had a general interest in farming, and I knew I wanted to go somewhere different, somewhere rural. So I looked up work at farm in Japan along those lines, and I came across this website. It's called Woofing. The way the Woofing website basically works is that you pay this annual fee. I believe it was around $50. You pay it once, and then you have full access to the company's portal, in which you could see the different farmers that have posted listings, and you can choose through those farms. There's information on each one and see which one fits best for you. For me, it was very important that I would only be speaking Japanese, so I looked through the different listings and picked a family that stated they did not speak any English. When I got there, I was lucky enough to find out my family was super nice, very friendly people, and I had one of the best months of my life. So what did I do there? What were my daily tasks like? At the farm I was at, called Sanchoka, it was kind of like a farm slash inn slash weekend cafe. My duties were basically just helping out with those 3 things. In regards to the farm, some of the things I did was I would burn old farming garbage, old brush, old leaves and stuff. I would help weed. I helped harvest crops. I would help clear land for new crops. Basically just maintenance. I learned a lot about growing crops through that, and it was a lot of fun too. In terms of the inn, a lot of what I did for that was preparing the room. It was a 1-room inn. It was literally just a big traditional house that we would rent out to single guests at a time, single parties. So what I did for that was just help clean the house, help prepare the beds, very simple stuff, and there were people doing it with me all the time, so it was hard to make mistakes. For the weekend cafe, this was probably the biggest duty, the biggest load of work. We would prepare food, we would serve guests, clean the cafe, do everything like that. Since my host knew I came to learn Japanese to study, she actually made me right on the front lines, put me as a waiter, gave me a little apron, and I had to speak to the guests. I had to give them food. They were always super fascinated when a foreigner came out of the back in the middle of rural Japan to serve them, so it was always fun. There was a main property where we had our inn and our cafe, and then there was a side property where the guests, like where I lived, where helpers on this farm lived. My room was beautiful, tatami mat, slept on the floor. I had a hot pot, I had a little table. It was very comfortable. Throughout my stay, I met tons of people. So my host was very social. She was very willing to introduce me to her friends. So if she went to her friend's cafe down the road, she'd take me. If she went into town one day to get groceries, she'd take me, and she'd introduce me to every person we came across that she knew. So this was great language practice because I'm basically just non-stop talking Japanese all day, meeting new people, reintroducing myself. Very good practice, but it was also very interesting to learn about these different people living in rural Japan. I find that in America I had a bit of a stereotype where when I think of rural people, I think of maybe not as educated, maybe a more simple lifestyle. But one thing I noticed in this town in Japan was that everybody, while living on a farm, were still very intellectually engaged, very curious, and were very willing to learn more about me and about other countries. This one guy that my host introduced me to was super cool. He was this 70-year-old Japanese man, but he looked like he was 40, and he had built this really dope cabin. Like, it was like a cabin that he made into an inn, built it all by himself in Saga. And we went there one morning for breakfast, and we made monjayaki, which is kind of hard to describe, but I'll put a picture in. It looks gross, but it's delicious. Another one of my favorite parts of my time in Saga was every single night I would end my day with a hot bath. We'd go to the onsen. My host gave me and this other girl staying in the guest house a car for the 3 weeks I was staying there, So we'd be able to go drive to the onsen at night, and super enjoyable, very nice way to end a day of work, and I enjoyed that a lot. Additionally, the inn I was working at had this beautiful wooden bathtub that we weren't able to use every day just because it's a lot to set up and it's a lot to maintain, but on certain days when my host was being extra nice, she would let me take a bath there after work, and I absolutely loved that bath. In terms of takeaways from the experience, number one, it was worth it. I think I was a little scared of my Japanese level going in. I wasn't sure if there would be miscommunications, if there would be certain times where I just I had no idea what was going on. And the fact of the matter was that there were times like that. There were plenty of them actually, but it's actually not a big deal. If you hope to learn a language, you want to really engage yourself in practice, making mistakes, getting past miscommunications are one of the biggest things, and I think it helped me a lot. Another one of my big takeaways is just how beautiful rural life is, like growing your own food, not having a 9-to-5 job, doing what you want every day, preparing your own food. Oh my god, the food, yo. The large majority of our days were just spent prepping food for us to eat and for the guests to eat. So whether it be different types of ramen, different types of noodle dishes, okonomiyaki, different seafood, all types of foods I learned how to prepare. And this is an inn, this is a restaurant, so it's prepared well. If I were to get that type of food at a restaurant, I would have easily spent over $100 a day. So honestly, that alone in itself was worth the work, worth my time on this farm. A lot of thought went into each of the different dishes in each of our meals, and you feel the food in your body, like you feel the nourishment. It was nice. To a lot of people, I think something like this might seem a little sketchy, seem a little scary. Just meeting a family online, living with them for a month, like, it's not the easiest thing to do, and it definitely wasn't the easiest thing to do for me. But simply put, I'm super glad I did it. Very happy, no regrets, and I recommend if anybody has the opportunity to do it, especially if you're learning a language, to do it.